Greetings, everyone! Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, and today we're going on a date with Lily. Yes, I guess it's technically not the first date, but it's the first date since we started going out. Yes, because we have went on a date before, even though it wasn't really called a date. We went out and about. That's about it. But guys, let's just continue and start. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is about the last thing I had in mind when Lily said she decided where to have our date. No man nor woman is dressed in anything but their finest. Their formality only matched by that of their surroundings. Rich red wallpaper adorns the walls as the city lights far below flickering glow. Combined with the ambient hum of quiet speech and the high-pitched clattering of cutlery and wine glasses, the mood is very formal, yet relaxed enough for me not to feel too uptight, despite this being our first real date. Once we get seated, our waiter leaves to attend to others with a quick bow. After an appreciative nod from Lily. Far from depending on my help, Lily's managed to navigate herself around surprisingly easily so far, despite the unfamiliar environment. A light brush here and there, and she's generally quite deft at orienting herself as needed. Yo, okay? A picture. So soon! We just got it! Okay. My eyes look to Lily's. I can tell from her face that she's listening to her surroundings just as hard as I'm looking. Hold on, I'm gonna get it fully zoomed out. There we go. The truth be told, my eyes are lingering on her each time they sweep across the room. The red kenogazam, I don't know, she's wearing accentuates her figure very well and shows off her legs. Ooh, her legs. Even her hair is done up, and the scent of her perfume is just noticeable. While my black suit may be a rental, I managed to select an appropriate one. It feels surprisingly comfortable considering I've so rarely worn one. Rarely worn one. The fits the setting, that as well as Lily's attire. I don't wear formal wear all that often. Like, I just recently got a formal shirt because I needed one for something. It's just a red button-up shirt. That's about it. That's the only formal wear I have in my closet. Just a red button-up shirt. That could come in handy with something in the future. I guess this is a new experience for both of us then. She turns somewhat sheepish. I've never come to a place such as this before. No. One hell of a first date, that's for sure. It's going to be pretty hard for me to top this. A small giggle even now. Our nervousness is dissipating. Her hand skates along the center of the table until it touches the menu, which she takes in both hands and brings to her face. Misao? As she lowers the beige laminated sheet just below her eyes, I can see another sheepish look. I doubt asking the waiter for a menu in Braille would be productive. I can read it out for you, no problem. I take mine and give it a quick read, my small grin flattering. Perhaps there is... What's wrong? There were quite a few items on here, and I'm not completely sure how to pronounce a couple of them. One fine after another is listed. Most may be in Japanese, but a few are in English and French. I guess it's to be expected, but I have no idea what's in some of these. Oh, this one, I recognize. Wait, hang on. You can cook that. A small giggle of amusement comes from behind the paper sheet. Well, I could read them all out, but it'd take a few hours. Is there anything with some kind of fish in it? Let's see. No, 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 no. Aren't these poisonous? No, no, no. They eat that stuff? No, 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 no. Ah, here we go. A tuna salad seems to be a good bet. From the picture, it looks like it'd be pretty filling as well. I don't like fish. The only type of fish I like is salmon, and that's the only fish I'd ever eat. That's the only seafood I'll ever eat, because I don't like seafood. That seems to be a reasonably safe option. Let's order 2 then. I'm pretty sure a couple of these dishes are from poisonous animals. I've had enough deadly run-ins for now. Lily maintains a smile, but there's a distinct lack of laughter. Black humor mustn't be her cup of tea. Though, to be honest, I don't find it exceedingly funny either. There are certainly quite a few interesting smells wafting about. The same is true of the sights, I assume. I've never been anywhere quite like this. A fancy Japanese tea house on an occasion or two, but never anything this lavish nor European in styling. Before another word can be said, a portly waiter in a distressingly tight vest appears at our table to take our orders. What? What's this? Why does that C have a Z underneath it? Is it Provençal? I don't know. Tuna salad. Nicois. Please too. What? Okay, what's up with this weird C? I hope I didn't mess up the pronunciation of that too badly. Even if I did, he doesn't show it. And may I have a glass of Chardonnay, please? Hisao? Oh, the same. As the waiter nods and leaves, I suddenly realize what I said by absent-mindedly mimicking Lily's answer. I regret it pretty quickly. Alcohol? Only a bit. This girl has an odd propensity to getting hooked on things, I swear. Surprising that they didn't ask for identification. Then again, I guess we both do look mature for our age. I'll have to take your word for it. I'll add that this isn't what I'd call the type of place to ask such things, though. Good point. We both relax a little into our seats, trying to take our minds off the choking formality of the surroundings. As soon as we do, the same waiter reappears at our table with 2 empty glasses and a bottle, the contents of which are quickly and professionally poured into the former. Ooh, look, another one. Lily's fingers. It looks like it's zooming out, so... Well, maybe not. Okay, it just zooms out a little bit. That's about it. Okay. We both nod politely as he leaves. Lily takes her glass and gently moves it from side to side. The liquid inside glistens as it moves around in the glass. And I have to admit, it makes me a little less regretful for ordering the same. I guess it must take effort to judge how the liquid inside is acting based only on its center of balance. Maybe it's like her origami, taking every little chance to practice her dexterity. I guess I'm not surprised that you know about a place like this. Those who have money would, I suppose. This reminds me of just how completely different our upbringings were in Yamaku. It's easy to forget about social and economic disparity between students all wearing the same uniforms, living in the same dormitories. Well, Akiri was the one to tell me of it. She's come here before, apparently. So that's what they were conspiring about on Friday. And you chastising me for cheating? That's not cheating, it's simply making use of personal contacts. If you say so, Still, I get the feeling that that you're more familiar with this kind of restaurant than I am. She pauses for a moment, a wistful look on her face before softly smiling. The compliment seems to brighten her mood. You can thank my former school for that. If I were to appear any less, they'd be gravely disappointed. She has mentioned her previous schooling before, but now I'm kind of curious. She seems to think a lot about her past, so I don't see any problem in asking. What was it like? What was that like? It was prestigious, all girls and Catholic. These facts made my parents choose it for me. Many wealthy families sent their daughters there. From how it sounds, life there must have been pretty strict. I wouldn't say it was a bad experience, but you're quite right. It was very strict. Thankfully, I managed to adapt well enough and make a number of friends. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for my sister. She found the atmosphere and religious aspects suffocating and ended up leaving for a job as soon as she was able to. Okay. She gives a small, self-depreciating chuckle. I shouldn't complain about it though. Not many even have the chance to go to such a school. Do you resent your parents for sending you there, then leaving? She gently shakes her head. My family is highly patriarchal. I don't know. My father, business always on his mind, was entirely lost as to what to do with me. In the end, he made the decision that my education was of higher priority than staying with the family. He simply did what he thought was best. To say such things so easily. What an unbelievable girl. That said, I'm a little surprised she doesn't think her blindness played any part at all. Though maybe I'm being too harsh on her family. You're too kind-hearted, you know that. Most would hate their parents for something like that. Well, some do. Obviously, oblivious to my raised eyebrow, she takes a sip from her glass. I'd hate that. I wouldn't want to go to a school like that. The wine sips down effortlessly, her fondness for it evidently helping her deal with the flavor of alcohol. I can't say the same goes for me. What of yourself? What was your schooling like? Mine, let's see. It was fairly normal. It was a fairly normal public school, I suppose. Maybe a bit busier than a norm. I did quite well in class and played in the soccer club. Since I'm an only child and my parents both worked a lot, I wasted most of my free time and money at the arcade with my 3 friends. And you grew apart from those 3 friends. No matter how much I played, though, I never did manage to beat Mai at any of those machines. Even Takumi and Shin lost to her whenever they tried. Then I'd be left trying to be the responsible adult when Shin and Mai fought again. Just the 4 of us aimlessly enjoying our childhood. Those were some pretty silly times. I catch myself as I realize that I'm starting to zone out. The days of my old school disappearing to the night sky and bright city lights outside the window. Lily's face is an odd mixture of curiosity and sympathy. Given her strict schooling, I suppose something like this would seem an interesting contrast to the only life she's known. It sounds like your previous school was a lot of fun. I'm not really sure how much of it is nostalgia, but there are some nice memories. That's in the past though, I can't go back there now. But through my accident, I found a new life I'd never have imagined leading. The peace and calm of Yamaku, a new direction for my future in science, and friendship of Shizune, Amisha and Hanako, and most of all, you. Okay, it's just this picture again, but redrawn, and they're wearing the formal wear now. This is this is similar to the picture from like a long time ago when we first met Lily. Well, not really when we first met her. It's like the second or third time we were with Lily or something. I don't know. She gives a deep, genuine smile as she moves her hand towards me. Her fingers are lightly searching out my face before softly caressing my cheek. Her hand reluctantly retreats after a second of warm silence, as we notice the waiter arriving with our meals. Lily does a defty job of covering her condition, except for the fact that her nod to him is slightly misaligned due to his silence. She really seems to work hard at appearing as normal as possible in public. While I noticed it long ago, I still can't quite gauge whether it's a want to not be treated differently, a slightly sense of vanity, or some mixture of both. Okay. The dish served lives up to the salad name, and the portions pleasantly large with sliced eggs and tomatoes. Looks very enticing indeed. Lily takes her knife in one hand and fork in the other, quickly getting to work on the dish as I do. It's later than when we usually have dinner, so we're both eager to dig in. So, a quick story about salad. It's not really a story. I just wanna talk about this. I had salad. The last time I had salad was on the way to Mexico. Yes, we were in the car driving to Mexico because it was a long time, and we're trying to find a place that serves breakfast. We couldn't find anything. There was no breakfast places around, or like no places that was still serving breakfast. Even though it was quite early in the morning, I'm surprised McDonald's was not serving breakfast. It was early in the morning. It wasn't that early, but it's still quite early. I don't know why they weren't serving it. And usually McDonald's serves breakfast all day. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. But we went to Chick-fil-A. And one thing about me is I do not like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is just not great. I had Chick-fil-A one day. I had chicken strips. They were way too sweet and they didn't taste like chicken strips. And so we went there. I got a salad. But I also got chicken nuggets. The chicken nuggets taste more like chicken strips than the damn chicken strips did. Like, what the heck? They have chicken strips and the chicken nuggets. The chicken nuggets didn't taste like chicken nuggets. They tasted like chicken strips. So it was really confusing. So yeah, story about that. The salad was also alright. I didn't get enough ranch, so yeah, the most of it didn't have any ranch on it, so yeah. My cautious skewering of leaves and vaguely meat-like squares with my fork is matched by Lily's silence and measured prodding and chewing. An occasional tap around the sides of a piece of the food to work out its edges is the only giveaway to her lack of sight. I'm done with my meat in a little time, Lily taking the last few bites as I sit observing her. Finishy, Sal? Yeah, it was pretty nice. That much is very true. I never thought a simple salad could be so tasty and filling. But then again, I suppose that's why it costed so much to eat here. Content with my appraisal, evidently agreeing, Lily gives a small nod. Given that you're part foreign, exotic looking, quite pretty, I'm surprised that nobody's ever confessed to you before. You're assuming nobody did? The simple statement takes me off guard. I shouldn't be surprised, given that I was complimenting her just moments before. Really? I've received several confessions, both in this school and my previous one. Adolescence is a funny time. She's kinda talking as if she's above it herself. Huh? How easily you say such a thing. Lily looks surprised for a moment before a playful smirk covers her face. Is that jealousy? Oh, no, it isn't. You're a bad liar, Isao. You should take that into account. Then again, I do appreciate how sincere you are, even if you don't intend to be sometimes. I think your honesty will always serve you well when dealing with others. I clear my throat in mock disapproval of this whole busyness, and try to steer the conversation elsewhere. To tell the truth, though, I do prefer solitude to being surrounded by others. I don't think I could maintain a social circle like you do. Yeah, me neither. She contemplates this for a moment. I don't think that's true either. I've seen how gentle and caring you are around Hanako, and you get on marvelously well with others, even those whom you hardly know. I think you're quite adept at social situations. But on that note, what of your confession, Hisao? I'm sure someone like you must have had at least one admirer. As I open my mouth to speak, I can feel my face turn slightly dour. At times like this, I secretly appreciate the fact that she can't see my expressions. Just one, her name was Iwanako. It was when she confessed to me that I had a heart attack, there in the woods during winter. Lily finds herself speechless, not expecting for the topic to move into such an area. My condition has always been something of a concern for her, something that I strive to minimize despite my body's being best efforts to the contrary. Afterwards, she visited me for a while when I was in the hospital. For weeks, she came in and talked to me. It was just usual. It was usually just small talk or clash of gossip, but that was enough. But eventually, she stopped coming. She was there every day, then every other day, then 1 week ago. Then finally, one day, she just stopped visiting. Did you ever see her again? Wrapped in my own little world, I shake my head before remembering the futility of the gesture. Yes, this is the last, the last choice I have to make. Mention the letter. And then the game will be like, I don't know, 25 hours long left. 25 hours left of the game left, yeah. 25 hours. That's how long the game is gonna go, okay? That's how long is left of the game. The memory of that single letter Iwanako sent me comes to my mind. I never saw her again, but after I was sent to Yamaku, she wrote me one letter. Lily's face shows an expression I know well. I've piqued her interest. I'd be slightly offended that it's simply a matter of curiosity for her, but she's never been very good at masking her reactions. In hindsight, it really didn't say much. What was going on in my old class, how she was faring, and almost as an afterthought, that it was probably best for the both of us that we don't see each other again. After reading it, I ended up reassessing a lot of things. I thought I'd managed to work out for the most part. The letter reminded me that the world around me was still moving and just how much I'd become isolated from it. And I guess it also reminded me of what I'd lost. She gives the information some thought before her face lightens up in realization. No doubt she's working out that it was this letter which had contributed to my angst during that lunch on the rooftop. It's a rare sight to see Lily quite so lost for words. Her entire persona is a little deflated from her earlier rapt interest. As she is, in the end, that isn't any replacement for life nor relationship experience. Perhaps it is better she sent it than not. How's that? It can be difficult to work out how best to communicate with those you haven't met in a long time, all the more so considering your separate situation. Instead of doing what was easiest, she built up the courage to talk to you one last time, not only for her sake, but from how it sounds, for yours as well. Maybe I don't hate her for it, but not that I really ever did, but I don't know. Probably a more non-commissural answer than I should give, but it isn't without cause. I've never looked at the situation from you and Naka's perspective. Okay. Seconds pass in silence before Lily speaks again. Moving to Yamako must have been hard for you, having your friends and even your girlfriend taken from you for no fault of your own. The worst of it passes while I was in the hospital, when all that surrounds you is four white walls and a small television. Your mind takes on a life of its own. It's like my old school, I guess. I just try not to dwell on what's happened and keep thinking ahead. All that reminiscing does is get me down, and it's largely thanks to you that it feels like things are finally getting back on track. That's pleasing to hear, Hisao. She lowers her face slightly, her expression pensive. I guess I went too far and embarrassed her. I suppose you went through something a bit like what I did when you entered Yamaku anyway, right? I imagine the vast majority of our school's students did, after all. You said yourself that you made friends in your old school. I can't imagine many followed you. Lily's deep smile drops, her expression unexpectedly darkening. Okay. Even her hands retreat to her lap. After a long while, she speaks. Hisao, can you promise not to tell anyone else what I'm about to? I promise. She looks slightly taken aback by my serious tone, but then relents and smiles weakly before continuing. When I moved to Yamaku, I did regret losing the friends I'd had at my other school. But there was one person whom I most regretted not seeing again. He was the reason I took up English as a future career. Considering she came from an all-girls school, that can't have been a schoolmate then. I rejected the confessions I'd received until then for him. Every time I improved my English skills, his praise was my most treasured reward. It's funny, isn't it? Someone like me, able to boast about the people who have set eyes on me, liking someone so utterly unattainable as my tutor. It truly is the most ridiculous thing. Did you? She quickly shakes her head from side to side. I couldn't. Even then, I knew it was impossible. A silence reigns over both of us. This does seem to explain her ardent focus on her future in teaching English, but I can't help thinking of her confession to me. She lost him without ever letting her feelings be known. Did she somehow fear that would happen again, but with me? I don't really know what to make of it. I've heard of such relationships before, taboos born of such things as puberty and youth. The fact that she had the good judgment not to act on it, though, is heartening. I know this must sound strange, but please, don't think of me. Why would I think any less of you for that? To be honest, I think he must have been a very nice person if you liked him so much. Not only that, but you stopped yourself before going too far. For a moment, she looked somewhat lost. Most unexpectedly thought though, if isn't a second before she starts to laugh. The sound takes me off guard. It's not a giggle, nor a restrained chuckle, but honest and genuine laughter. I found myself smiling, and not just at her display of relief and happiness, but for her to trust me enough to let me see the most private of secrets. Bro, this should get turned into an anime, bro. You know, it's not uncommon for visual novels to get turned into anime. Clannad was a visual novel. Canon was a visual novel. Air was a visual novel. Angel Beats was a visual novel. Yeah, all of those got turned into anime. Come on, turn this into an anime or something, yeah. This would be a great anime, okay? But I don't really know how it would work. Well, let me think. Because I know Clannad does have multiple paths, but I just don't know who the main, girl character this would be going along if this would to get turned into an anime. Because, Clannad the main character that the main girl that was like going on was Nagisa. She was the girl, and you cannot. She was a choice in the game as well. I'm pretty sure. I've never played the game, which I really want to play it, but I don't know. Let me think. I don't know much about it. I know there's choices you can pick and different endings of the game that you can go with different girls. I guess the true ending of the game is with Nagisa, and I know there's a separate ending for my favorite character, Tomoya. No, Tomoyo. Tomoyo's the main character. It's weird. Tomoya, then Tomoyo. Tomoyo is the girl, and then Tomoya is the main character. So yeah, Tomoyo, my favorite character. She has a whole other game for her ending and stuff. Yeah, that's just me talking. So I'm playing Clannad someday in the future. I don't know when though. Before I realize it, I feel her palm touching my face. Her touch is gentle as ever, with her thumb slowly stroking my cheek. You're kind, Hisao. I really do love you. Seeing her face like this, with her palm gently caressing my face, I think tonight has been a wonderful night. I guess we've both had pretty weird pasts, I think, but by most standards, our presence is rather odd as well. I smile and hang my head. This woman can easily run rings around me. Of that, I'm quite sure. I look back around the room with its continuing quiet hum of patrons. This place probably fits into the odd category too. It is a tad overbearing. That's one word for it, yes. I catch the eye of a scurrying waiter in short, scrawny guy no older than 20. He kind of reminds me of Kenji, though unlike him, the waiter isn't dressed for winter during midsummer. Haha, it's Kenji's father. Imagine. Kenji's father's out. He's trying to work up enough money to afford milk or something. I don't know. After a curt bow and an offer to remove our plates, Lily asks for the bill politely and softly. With expert coordination, he maneuvers around the table, our plates in hand, to retrieve our bill. In no time, he reappears through the door, smartly handing our bill to Lily, who promptly hands it to me, causing him to raise an eyebrow. As I read the small computer-printed leaflet, the cost is considerably more than I expected. Hisao? I quickly stammer out the amount, to which Lily merely nods and reaches for her purse. Giving her card to the waiter, he disappears once again. That was disproportionately, I don't know, large amount of money. That statement seems to make Lily slightly uncomfortable. My family leaves me more than enough for my education. The same goes for my sister, though she dislikes being reminded of the fact. That said, I too dislike throwing money about, but this one time I think I can make an exception just for you. Not only did you choose our date, but you paid for both of us as well. I take the bridge of my nose in my finger. I can't believe how high you have set the bar for our next date. She gives a small giggle. I'll be looking forward to it, Hisao. The waiter reappears beside us as if by magic and hands Lily's card back to her, evidently picking up her lack of sight. He places the card in her hand with an extra, perhaps unneeded amount of firmness to make sure of her grip. Leaving, he exercises a measure of diplomacy by keeping a neutral face despite my own expression. Clapping my hands together, I stand up from my seat in order to bring an end to our night out. Shall we be off then, milady? I snap upwards out of my sheets and sit bolt upright in bed, as if an electric shock had just been run through my entire body. The night air feels cold against against the sweat on my bare skin. My breathing short and rugged, nearly to the point of hyperventilation. Mind racing, I bring my hand to my head in an attempt to soothe my body's panicked state. It takes me a number of seconds to realize my hand is shaking violently, even as I press it against my face. More seconds pass in complete silence. My desperate attempts to subdue my body and mind slowly, thankfully working. Gathering myself, I start taking measure of the state I'm in. It feels like I've run a marathon, every muscle feeling tense and sweat practically pouring off me. I carefully direct my attention to the beating in my chest, measuring out the rhythm in my head. Sure enough, my unreliable heart is functioning properly for once. Just what the hell was that? A heart attack? A bad nightmare? Medicine side effects? I've heard of panic attacks, and this does seem to have the hallmarks of one. I can't even be bothered thinking about it right now. I feel utterly exhausted, yet completely awake after this experience. I look over to the other side of my bed, the pale white of the silent figure's face, almost glowing in the nighttime darkness of the room. Just the sight of her is enough to calm me down significantly. Oh, damn. Lily's there. Her graceful demeanor persists even while she's asleep. Her perfectly measured breathing and gentle face, making it impossible to tell whether she's awake or truly sleeping. Given into temptation, I delicately run my fingertips over her hand. Her skin is soft to the touch, as it always has been, yet warm even in the cold night. It's at times like this I silently appreciate each other's presence. That I feel we're closest. My fingers stop at her wrist, and I bring my hand back down to the bed beside me. I'm not entirely sure why, but as we became ever closer to each other, it felt as if something grew between us. I'm not entirely sure what it is, nor whether it exists before we'd fall in love. Everything is moving so fast. I don't mind it at all, but it feels unlike Lily to be pushing things this much. Thankfully, there aren't any students miling around the hallway at this hour of the morning. Lest I be interrogated on why I'm carrying 2 plates of breakfast to my room while dressed in an obviously hasty donned uniform. That isn't to say things like this never happen. Of course, a single security guard patrolling between 2 sets of bedrooms situated right next to each other is a very small force compared to adolescent hormones. Come to think of it, the fact that it's Monday morning probably helps. I'm not really sure why, but Mondays seem to bother me less than they do most others. It takes a little creative use of my hands and elbow, but eventually I managed to work the door to my dormitory room open. Stepping inside, I see Lily just getting up from the bed, entirely rubbing her eyes. She looks a mess, just like most other times I've seen her. Soon after she wakes, she really isn't a morning person. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. She groggily shakes her head. The morning light illuminating her makes for a very pleasant sight. It's okay, I needed to get up anyway. What time is it? I put my plate down on my desk and turn the clock around to check the time. Still early, don't worry. There's plenty of time left before school. She sits on the side of the bed and begins to sniff the air. As she does so, I quickly move her plate away and put it on the desk beside mine. Yes, I got us some breakfast. A shower and clothes come first, though. She stands still for a moment with her chin pointed slightly out. I gladly and pressed my lips to hers, savoring the soft feeling before breaking off. With a small, sweet smile, apparently quite satisfied, she slowly makes her way to the shower. I stretch to try and wake myself up a little more, briefly looking at the steaming dishes on the desk: rice, fish, miso soup, and some vegetables. A standard breakfast for a somewhat usual day. I grab the bottles from my desk and start taking my daily regimen of pills. Sometimes I wonder what these things are ever good for, or even good for. Given all the troubles I've had since the initial accident, I can't even say that it doesn't hurt to take them, considering the side effects so far. Well, whatever. Doctor's orders are that I have to take them, and rationality suggests that I'd be well served to trust his judgment over mine. It doesn't take long for the noise of the shower to cease. A quick one, apparently being fine for Lily given the circumstances. Emerging from the bathroom, she looks significantly more awake, having had the chance to collect herself. Without a word, I gently take her hand in mine and guide her to my desk. Considering I don't have a table in my room as she does, it'll have to do. Thank you, Isao. What did you prepare for breakfast? Just rice and some vegetables, something fast. Doesn't really seem like breakfast. Her face lights up at the revelation. Okay, whatever. That's quite a breakfast. This is normal for you? I don't know. Today I barely ate anything. I ate sandwiches and I just finished eating what was it? I forgot what I just ate. What did I eat? Oh yeah, tacos. I just ate 2 tacos. Yeah, just 2 sandwiches and 2 tacos. That's all I had today. And they weren't really that far away from each other. So yeah. Now she's just being nice. I have little doubt, considering her past, that this isn't exactly a high-class meal by her standards. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Just because we're students doesn't mean we can't take it lightly. That's my belief anyway. From what others I've talked to have said, I might be in the minority. I take a seat on the side of the bed and begin eating together with Lily, her chopsticks lightly tapping out the outlines of the vegetables, just as I'd noticed her do during our date. This is quite nice, Hisao. I had no idea you could cook this well. This time, she's more genuine. I can tell that much. That said, cooking really isn't anything special at all. After a bit of practice, it's pretty easy to make a simple dish. I can't cook. Well, I've never really tried, but whatever. Most of the credit goes to modern technology. Still, after years of cooking for myself, I should hope so. I got bored of eating instant noodles and ordering pizza every time my parents were both working, so I taught myself how to make a few meals. I'm still trying to get the knack of it, though. You'll make a good wife someday, Hisao. I take a grain of rice and place it onto my thumb before carefully taking aim and giving it a flick. Lily jumps a little as it hits her cheek, right on target. I can't help chuckling a little at her expense as she lowers her brow and tries her best to assume a harsh and serious expression. Oh, that's right. What is it? Did you have any problems sleeping last night? You seemed restless. So she was awake back then. Or at least partially so. Whether it was my heart or a nightmare caused by the side effects of my medicine, the last thing I want is for her to be worrying about me either. Even before my relationship with Lily, I'd felt my body was a drag on everything I did. My body is a burden alone, so as long as I'm with her, I'll continue to act as normal as possible. No, not particularly. That's so. That's good then. Luckily, she seems to take me at my word. Come to think of it, there was something else I wanted to ask. Oh? How should I put it? When you dream, do you see people and objects? Yes, of course I do. Oh. I feel more than a little sheepish for that slip of the tongue. However earnest it may be, Lily looks unperturbed though. But you don't taste, feel, nor smell things. I moved to answer, but found myself stuck before thinking about it. The more I mull it over, and the more I realize that her hypothesis is correct. That's true, I guess. I never looked at it that way. Are you saying that you do? For the most part, I only hear in dreams, but yes, sometimes I touch and smell things as well. I'm just asking since Akari thought it's very strange that I did when I brought it up with her. If you don't either, then maybe it's due to my blindness. Well, yeah, it probably is. Since you can't see things, you don't know how things look like, so yeah. When you dream, most of what happens in your mind and in your dreams and stuff, like, are affected by the real world. You cannot see a chair in your dream because you can't see it in real life, because you don't know how a chair looks like, you don't know how, like, a TV looks like or anything looks like. So you can't really see anything in a dream. The wonders of a human body, I guess. For the rest of the time before school, we quietly eat and heartily breakfast in front of us, exchanging a few small pieces of small talk as we do. As we enter the gardens, I suddenly receive an unsolicited pat on the back. The green-dressed culprit dances around to meet me, evidently not paying any heed to Lily at my side. Hey man, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. I forgot how to do his voice, but whatever. Hey, just been busy lately with the exams and stuff. Exams? Exams? A true Renaissance man needs no study to excel in such things. Kenji doesn't strike me as the type of person that does well in school, even if he has a horrid attendance record and poor work ethic. So I've little reason to doubt his ability. To be honest, I'm a little envious of him. Between studying for exams and my time with Lily, I've had practically no time to myself. Maybe this is a bit like how Yuko feels. Good morning, Seto. It's good to hear you're doing well. It feels slightly odd to see Lily speaking so formally. She's come to address me more casually over the months, though I have seen her speak more formally to classmates from time to time as well. Some people never change. I guess not that I'd say her calm and polite manner is a bad thing. It was one of the reasons I like being around her to begin with, after all. Kenji seems to take a moment to work out who is beside me, and probably hasn't noticed us holding hands either. I wonder if those glasses of his actually do anything. Oh, hey Lily, good luck on your exams too. I'll see you after school then, man. The slight edge of his voice makes me think those words are meant to be an imperative rather than a casual farewell. I guess I'll have to smooth things over later. Sure, see ya. Kenji nods curtly. He moves to pass by us, but he's too busy glaring at Lily's general direction to take notice of her cane. Before I can try to react and save the situation, Kenji trips and reflexively reaches out for a handhold. Unfortunately, said handhold turns out to be Lily's arm. Whoa! Okay. Both fall to the ground in a sprawling heap, with me left feeling rather helpless. Damn, are you two okay? Kenji quickly rises back up, seemingly unfazed by the accident. No problem, man. No problem. This is nothing. My body can take much worse abuse. Lily lies face down on the grass. She doesn't look hurt, but it's more startled than anything. I move closer to offer her my help. Okay. Are you alright, Lily? Hey, Sato! Kenji offers her a hand, attentively touching hers to let her know what he's doing. He says some odious things sometimes, but I do think he may be a genuinely good person at heart. I imagine he feels pretty bad about this. To surprise in mine, though, Lily oh, I can't, dude, it's not a hard word. Pounds on the ground with her fist without warning. Damn it! What? Kenji freezes, entirely caught by surprise at her outburst. I'm just as shocked. She never acted like this before, not even around Shizune. Seemingly only now remembering that there are other people around her, Lily slowly climbs to her feet. Her face, as she does so, makes me retreat a little. I only catch a glimpse of her expression before she turns away, but it's not something I'll forget soon. She slowly, plenty of annoyance during her clash with Shizune, but this flash of anger was something else. There's no way that this is just about this pretty, incident. She pauses for a moment before, sighing and walking on ahead. I really don't know what to make of this. I'll, talk to you later, dude. See you. Yeah, see ya. What the heck? Kenji scratches the back of his head, trying to find out something to say, then shrugs and walks away, giving us a wide berth. I quickly catch up to Lily. She turns her head a little to acknowledge my presence, but nothing else. I should probably scold her for lashing out like that, but I also don't want to get into a shouting match with her. She's still very obviously annoyed. In the end, I keep my mouth shut and wait for her to cool off. After a quiet walk in, we eventually reach the top of the 3rd floor stairs and the junction where we part every day. I turn to Lily before she leaves. While I do like the comfortable and warm silence we usually share, this was anything but. I don't want to leave things like this. You seem quieter than usual recently. Is anything wrong? She shakes her head almost automatically, as if to dispel any notion that I need to worry about her. It's just the exams taking their toll. I'll be fine. I don't think that's the reason. I very nearly say so, but decide against it. There's no point trying to draw it out of her if she doesn't want to tell me, especially when she's in a foul mood like this. If you're sure, I'll see you later then. As I turn down the hall to go to my classroom, Lily's soft voice rings out from behind me. Hey Sal, yeah? I'm sorry. With that, Lily makes off down the hallway to her own classroom, her hands skating along the metal railing. I stand still and watch her until she turns into her classroom, and out of sight before going to my own class with a fair measure of reluctance. Good morning, Nakai. Can I help you? Do you mind if I ask you something? He looks down at his messy pile of books on the desk before putting down the papers in his hand and standing up with some difficulty to properly address me. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm here for. After all, ask away. I was just wondering, what would you say is the motivation behind teaching? He thinks on this question for a few moments before responding, evidently far from having a prepared answer. If you talk to 10 different teachers, I think you'll get 10 different answers to this question. Well, I can only speak for myself. I'd say that I teach because, He sinks into thought again, carefully assessing the way he wishes to present his ideas. Think of it this way. When you were a child, you probably played with sticks and pebbles in moving water in such as the gutter or puddles, right? Yeah, I think a lot of people do that when they're young. I don't. When it's not just, well, it's not just when you're young for some, though it does take on another form. My point is, though, that when one is doing that, you're curious about how the water will flow to be changed. Everyone, even at the young age, possesses an intense wonderment about how the world around them works, even in its smallest forms. I still feel the sense that, I still feel that sense of wonderment about the universe. Even just reading about new discoveries, our class experiments, gives me a renowned sense of awe at how marvelous everything is, from the farthest stars to the smallest puddle. I just hope that I can give others even a small piece of that wonderment I feel if I can do that. Even if it's just for one person, I think that I can be happy as a teacher. He scratches his head as he mentally reviews what he said. I feel like I understand him better now. Even if he's awkward around others, he does have a genuine want to be around them and offer them a piece of himself that he values. What Lily told me yesterday rings in my ear. I think you get on well with others, huh? She says she always did say I was unusually curious. Sorry if that was a little meandering. Does it answer your question? It does, thank you. I also had another question, actually. Oh, what might that be? Do you have any college brochures or guides? It's about time I start getting some applications in. He nods and bends down to look inside his desk. As he does so, I notice that he is wearing a remarkably genuine smile. I don't think I've ever seen him act this natural around others. Perhaps this isn't Mutao, the teacher, but rather Mutao, the person. Here, if you need any more, feel free to ask. He hands me about half a dozen brochures and booklets of various colors and sizes, which I take eagerly. Yes, it will be this information which I'll use to forge my own future. I think now, after all this time and all these trails, I can finally start to see the big picture of my life ahead of me. My body may be like this, but my mind is still very much able. Thank you. So, how's your work in the newspaper club going, Hanako? I want to know too. It sounds like it would be quite interesting. Hanako's face turns down as the attention placed upon her. Though her smiles, I don't know. The fact that she genuinely likes being the center of interest for the two of us. It's good. I think I'm getting better at it. Naomi and a couple of her friends handle most of the jobs, getting stories and stuff. I just do the computer things, like putting the stories together and getting it printed. It's nice, since I can sit and concentrate. I see Lily's low-tech nature isn't shared by Hanako. While sitting in the room, compiling other people's newspaper articles into documents doesn't strike me as overly outgoing. It is heartening to see her widening her circle of friends. I almost joined a newspaper class or something. Yeah. I think it was either newspaper or journalism. I forgot what it was. But like it was on when I was filling out my classes for this year, like I put in a class, like if some of my electives weren't available, then I would have been put in my second choice electives. So I think newspaper was one of those. Newspaper and yearbook. Baby steps. I guess it's probably a bit much to be expected. To be expecting her to become like Lily. How are you finding Naomi? I've heard she can be quite troublesome at times. And Lily's going into her mothering mode over Hanako. Letting go of her is something she's had to learn. Hanako scratches her cheek, thinking on her answer. Naomi's nice. She's a bit loud sometimes and a bit tiring, but she's really helpful. Her friends are nice too. That's wonderful to hear, Hanako. I'm glad you found a source of such enjoyment. Lily's smile is warm and genuine, but I can sense a touch of wistfulness to it as well. Hanako seems to miss that entirely, but I don't think for a second that I'm managing it. I suppose it's because I've slowly come to pay more and more attention to everything going on around me. With things seemingly happening faster and faster, it feels like I've missed something if I'm not as observant as possible. With the exams, my newfound love life, trying to fit in some studying regarding my opinion for college and university, and my heart condition applying the brake on everything at irritatingly random times, my brain's been in overdrive recently. It makes me appreciate the rare quiet times such as these. I guess this is why Lily came to appreciate her weekly walks to the convenience store and her tea parties with Hanako, despite her like of being surrounded by others. They gave her a moment of peace in a chaotic and busy life. Thank God the exams are over, eh? The comment draws an earnest chuckle from both the girls. It seems like everybody's been a lot happier since the exams ended last week. So, what are you doing for the summer holidays, Hanako? Only, what? I quickly count the days in my head. Today's Monday, and school finishes on Saturday. 5 days to go, after all. I was thinking of traveling, just around a bit. There's a lot of places I want to see, and I think I have enough money to pay for the bus and train rides. Naomi and one of the other girls in the newspaper club said they might come along too. Her look indicates she's given the matter quite a lot of thought. I'm kind of surprised that she's contemplating something like this. It seems she's really become intent on striking out on her own. Is there anywhere in particular you're thinking of going? I was thinking that Kyoto sounds nice. I think I'll try to go to a few places though. Lily nods in approval, happy with Hanako's plans. While I cast my eyes to Lily, I refrain from asking her the same question. She's been evasive with her plans for the future for a long time now. But I never seem to get a good time to broach the subject alone with her. Every time it comes up in conversation, it feels like she's either unsure of herself or simply dodging the question. It's troubling. Be sure to call sometime when you're out and about. I gave you my number before, right? Hanako gives a quick nod, a happy smile on her face. Okay. It's strange to see how happy people seem to become. They have a goal to work towards. Yuko seems to brighten whenever her university aspirations are brought up, and now Hanako is just the same. So why do I still feel this uncertainty, and why Lily too? Relationships really can be irritatingly troublesome sometimes. What time is it? It takes me a second to remember that Lily's clock doesn't have any visual feedback. I really should know, given how many times I've been in her room. Nevertheless, I take my watch from my bag and quickly check it. The reason for her asking becomes clear. It's about 20 past 10, nearly curfew. Hanako rises to her feet, dusting herself off and neatening her gown after doing so. I'd better be going then. Good night, Lily Hisao. Sleep well, Hanako. See ya tomorrow. Okay, with that, she walks to the door and quietly makes her exit. Silence. This seems to be happening more and more between Lily and me recently. After a few seconds, I finally find something to talk about. Oh yeah, I talked to Mitao on Friday and finally checked out some guides on college and how to apply for it. That's good news. If you're going to... what was that? Okay. If you're going to apply for college, I assume you have some idea in mind of what you might do in the future. I think I've settled on becoming a science teacher. Yep, I was right, okay? It's going to take a while to get through university and everything to be qualified, but I think it'll be worth it. Lily's face brightens considerably at the news. I suppose with her to become a teacher, she's delighted I take the time to take the same kind of path. Well, I might have mentioned this before, but my goal in life, is to become a voice actor. So I'm going to college to become an actor. I don't really think there's standalone voice acting like courses you can take in college. So I'm just going through an acting course in college. I'm already in like an acting class, and yeah, preparing for voice acting because that's what I want to do. A future job as well, like a second job I plan on having, or like either a backup job or like a second job that I would like be doing when I don't have roles as a voice actor or something like that, I would like to be an English teacher. Like, not an English teacher like the crappy English teachers you find here in the United States of America, because English sucks. A foreign English teacher. Teach foreign students, mainly Japanese students, English. So yeah, I've been looking into that a lot. I just need to get this one thing and have a 4-year degree in college. So yeah, I gotta take a test to do this one thing. I forgot what it's called, but I have to do that. Yeah, English teacher. Yes. Okay. So you've decided on a career of teaching. I think that path suits you most excellently, Hisao. I smile and nod. This time, even if I know she can't see me doing so, I know she feels it. I kind of wish in this game you were able to name yourself, Because a lot of visual novels do that. But there's some that don't. Yeah. Like this one. I imagine Mitao would have taken to the news well. That's one word for it. Hey, Lily. Yes? I know you want to be a teacher, but for a second I wonder whether I should really ask her the question on my mind. But that quickly brushes aside by the fact that this is rather late to have second thoughts. Surely you don't still think I'd be offended by something regarding my blindness? Her accusing tone is betrayed by her grinning face. Amused at my awkwardness in raising the topic, some things never change. Good point, I guess. I was just thinking whether or not being blind would be a hindrance. What with your ambitions to becoming a teacher and all? She looks mildly surprised before giving the question some thought. I refuse to think she's never actually pondered this issue before. Yeah, how is she gonna grade papers? It's not like you're just gonna print out papers with like braille on them and then hand them to the students just so you can grade them and stuff. And plus your students probably wouldn't know braille to begin with. So like, yeah, you wouldn't really be able to grade their papers. So yeah, that's one hindrance. I wonder, Hisao, could you close your eyes for a moment? Okay. Raising an eyebrow, I do as she requests. Also, what of raising hands? I have no idea what she has in mind, and my questions only increase as I peek out from one eye. Taking the black ribbon she usually wears in her hair from the cabinet beside her bed, she advances towards me while running it through her fingers to remove any stray hairs remaining on the piece of cloth. I suddenly I suddenly click on to her intentions as I feel the black strip make contact with my face, wrapping around my head and over my eyes. What exactly is this for? It's a little test, Hisao. Since you seem to be wondering, I'll let you see things as I do for a time. Huh? So that's what this is about? To be honest, this actually sounds kind of fun. Childish and rather silly to anyone who would be watching, but a bit of silly fun never hurt anyone. I stand up with a heave, my hands quickly moving out in front of me to warn me of any obstacles. Okay, now what? Now touch me. If you say so, now then. I slowly make my way forward towards the sound of Lily's voice. My walking speed could barely even be called a shuffle. The entire experience feels alien. And alien enough that I don't want to risk inadvertently tripping over anything, such as her table of her haphazard piles of books. Something soft yet solid brushes against my left leg. Further inspection reveals it is Lily's bed. I move onwards, finding myself thankful that Lily's room is so neat and tidy. Even the piles of books she had are generally kept close to the wall, out of harm's way. The hard wall pressing against my outstretched hands makes me furrow my brow in frustration. Hey Lily, where are you? What are you doing over there? I'm over here. Lily's voice comes from the other side of the room, far from where it was before. Even to my untrained ears, if she's going out of her way to avoid me reaching her, then is this just a game to her? Of course it is. Compared to her life where even the concepts of sight is abstract, abstract one, a few minutes in a blindfold are nothing. I guess she's made her point. She's more than capable of navigating her room. And further, I've seen how independent she is when compared to many of the others in Yamku. Well, even if this is just a game, I may as well play it wholeheartedly. With a pace much quicker than before, I move towards the source of her voice, deftly sidestepping the table in the center of her room, thanks to remembering its position. I've got you now! She gives an impish giggle, one just long enough to work out that she's passing just beside me. I quickly turn around to face the new direction. The table wasn't there before. Ow, ow, ow! I slowly sit up next to the table, raising my blindfold as I rub my aching head. I give an irritated kick to the table that's sitting just in front of where I fell. Utterly pointless, but the thing deserves it. Yeah, that's what I do. The other day, I don't know what I hit myself on, but I know I ended up kicking it afterwards. Hisao? Lily's still standing just to my side, obviously unsure of what's befallen me. Sorry, I kind of fell over. Are you hurt? My head hurts, but I think I'm okay. I think the table moved in order to trip me over. Okay. She giggles as she walks over and takes a seat beside me, her hand resting on my own. I suppose that's the end of that then. I think so. But I also think I get the point. Though I do wish it hadn't involved such a headache. Yeah, but then again, like I was saying, grading papers. Lily suddenly looks blank. Point. And I return an extraordinary flat look. That was just for fun. I just thought it might ease you up a little about the subject. You always seem to tiptoe around it after all. In regards of teaching, sight isn't that important. There are plenty of classes taught by entirely blind teachers. Yeah, I guess, but still, my concerns are not by this, and more than enough resources for me to learn the subject. It's as easy as that, really. I slump my shoulders and give a snort of amusement. Come on, mention the grading. Yeah, I understand. I guess we'll both just have to work hard to reach our goals then. What is it? With a little hesitation, Lily pushes forward her chin and closes her eyes in an unmistakable gesture. Again. I accept gladly, our lips touching as they do. I suddenly feel her hand snaking up my chest from underneath my shirt. The feeling of her hand against my bare skin is enough to make my heart suddenly accelerate. Bro, her hand is right there, her hand's right there. What do you mean it's going up your shirt, Matthew? So she's in that kind of mood again. Yep. She is horny on main. Well, I'm hardly one to complain. She does genuinely like this. And even with all my medications, my libido is thankfully still intact. I lean in to kiss further, holding her hand tightly as I feel it tracing the contours of my chest. Eventually, we break off from one another, the room silent but for our breathing. He Sal? Yeah? I don't suppose you could wear the blindfold again. Her attentive suggestion takes me by surprise. I suppose she wants to introduce me to through her eyes as well, or just wants to find out what I'll be like during the act while I'm hampered by the blindfold. With a measure of unease tempered by curiosity, as I do as she says, and lower the blindfold over my eyes, the world becomes dark once again. I reflexively tense as I feel Lily's hands gently brush the side of my face, entirely unable to anticipate her touch. I really need to get more used to contact like this. Even after the weeks we've been going out, it isn't as natural for me as it is for her. Silence. Hey, Lily. Shh. I obediently follow her instructions and quietly listen, trying to make out anything that's happening around me. Compared to before when I was chasing Lily, the need to carefully navigate the room's obstacles now gone, I can take my time to concentrate much harder on listening. It takes a while, but I can eventually pick out the soft sound of her breathing in the otherwise dead silent room. In, out, in, out. Measuring it against my own breath, I realize it's definitely deeper than normal, especially for her. Another sound makes its way to my ears, one that I can identify immediately. I don't think I've heard it before, but my heart skips a beat as I realize the sound. My hand almost reflexively reach out towards it. Her face feels softer than usual under my touch, her head just barely turning in acknowledgement towards the fingers on her cheek. Sal? I gulp and take a moment to try and calm down. I need all the concentration I can muster while I'm like this in order to fully take in my surroundings. After a few deep breaths, I think I've managed to collect myself. With a touch so light that it wouldn't disturb a feather, I start to move my hands down her body, and I can feel myself losing focus again. Thanks to those thin silken pajamas of hers resting so perfectly over the curves of her body. If she's like this, then that means she has to be sitting against her bed and facing me now to continue. Alright, this must be her hip. If I just move slowly downwards, Lily's breath catches as my hand comes over hers, attentively following her fingers between her legs and losing them as they go underneath her. Okay. Just the slightest moisture touching my fingertips, but it's enough to easily work out what she's doing. My mind suddenly fills with visions of what she must be like in front of me right now. I never even imagined her doing this before. Being unable to see her doing this act only enhances the mood. I work the blindfold upward, brushing out my eyes a couple of hairs that were stuck on the ribbon before. For a period of time, I can only guess at my mind goes completely blank. All I can do is stare at my newly freed eyes, take in everything in front of them. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I should censor this or not. It's not really showing anything, but it is something. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I might just put I don't know. I'll see. I'll see when it comes to it. Just as I worked out, Lily sits in front of me. With one hand on the ground to steady herself, and the other's fingers lightly brushing between her legs, hidden by the dark blue underwear, I think it's the most erotic sight I've ever seen. Once again, I reach out and brush her hair from her face, her chin tilting outwards as she fills her pleasure-wrapped body with another breath of air. Lily? Lily looks oddly cute as she smiles at my calling of her name. It always seems like it's at the moment when she's least attentive that she lets her most interesting emotions slip out. It's not long before she works her fingers over herself faster than before, her excitement evidently rising. The scent of her sweat in the air only echoes that fact. Okay. I sit in front of her. It's hardly as if my own arousal holding still. It's taking every fiber of my being to let her continue by herself instead of pushing myself on top of her. Okay. It's strange. I'd initially found her clouded blue eyes to be distracting, almost disturbing in their lack of focus. That bothers me far less than it used to now. My attention refocuses on her as she lets out a whimper, her breath coming much faster than before and her hips suddenly rocking. Okay, I'm gonna hide this. I'm just hiding all the new CGs because basically those are new. It's showing a different facial expression, so that means it's a new CG. No sooner do I realize how close to the edge Lily's become, that her breath catches her eye clasp shut, as every muscle in her body seems to contract, as she unmistakably reaches her climax. For only a scant few seconds she tightens, huddling in ecstasy, before her body relaxes and a long drained sigh comes from her lips. I just have no idea what to say. Silence reigns while I simply watch her, hair hanging over her face as she sits exhausted. Hisao? When she reaches out to brush my face, my urges take complete control of my body. Without so much as a second thought, I push myself over her frame. It's an unusual feeling being like this. I feel oddly powerful, holding myself above her blank face as though for the first time since the accident so long ago, I feel physically strong. Lily, I want you. To my surprise, she smiles weakly before reaching upwards to feel the side of my face. It's an almost cheeky expression of the kind which she usually gives only after getting something out of me. You want me to do this? She holds her smile and gives a silent nod. I guess it was an effective way to make me take the initiative for once. And again, to my surprise, she gives the ribbon still around my head a sharp tug downwards. Once again, I'm lost in complete blackness. I told you to keep it on, didn't I? The teasing edge to Lily's voice, punctuated by her breathing. She never seems to lose her ability to take control of a situation. But this one time. Ah, Hisao, what are you? I slide my hands underneath her soft silk and skin, pressing into my hands as I gently raise her body with a measure of difficulty. While I wouldn't describe her as heavy, her height makes her more than a handful to try and lift. It only takes a couple of carefully placed steps to feel the edge of her bed against my legs. My lowering of Lily onto her sheets, just as gentle as when I raised her. Your bed will be more comfortable than the floor, right? Always the gentleman, aren't you? I quickly run my hands down Lily's long, sharp, shapely legs. Their allure far from diminished without the luxury of sight, and pull off her pajamas short, the underwear from her ankle. I have no idea where those just went. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. They'll be somewhere around. With a minimum of fuss, I shovel down my own pajama trousers and underwear, positioning myself between her legs, or at least where I think her is between her legs. With one hand on her bed to steady myself, my right moves attentively downwards. Oops, my first contact with her is my palm clumsily meeting the front of her nose. She giggles a little before turning her head sideways. Taking my cue, I gently cradle her cheek and use my thumb to feel the contours of her face, as she so often does with me. This would be a little easier if she wasn't moving her face into my hand, but the feeling of her nuzzling into it is so nice. I swallow to try and steady myself. Take my other hand from the bed and use it to guide myself into her. As soon as I feel her warmth around me, I quickly realize just how turned on I am. With my sight gone, I'm free to concentrate far more on my other senses, including tactile feeling. The entire experience feels more vivid, more intense than it's been before. I slowly start to move my hips back and forth, my heart beating wildly in excitement. I feel Lily's eyes clenching shut, the movement of her cheeks underneath my thumb, reminding me of the gentle hold I have on the side of her face. It's hard to stop myself from being completely overwhelmed. It's hard to think that this is what sex is usually like for her, experienced through every sense, but the one I hold dearest. From her cheek to her neck, I began to slide my hand downwards to take in the feeling of her body, the contours of her collarbone, the light dew resting on her skin. My sense of smell is stimulated by the scent of her sweat and mine hanging in the air. Even the ambient smell, noticeably different from that of my own room, adds to the feeling. Okay, this is kind of boring because, it's black because we have a blindfold over our eyes, but, less editing for me. When I move my hand to her supple breasts, her soft mewling fills my ears, along with the sound of our act. The skin underneath my hand moves back and forth with each thrust. My grip on it tightens as my lust for the near-naked body of Lily before me grows. I can even feel her small against my palm. My hand slides further and my fingers pluck it through the thin silk of her pajama top. Her whimpering sounds turn to moans as she fills with the same pleasure as I. I can feel my heart beating loudly in my chest and her own beating underneath my hand. I can feel her hands clasp my wrist, Risp? What is a risp? Wrist. Their grip surprisingly tight as her chest rises in overwhelming pleasure. More. I want more. Oh no, I can feel my chest tightening as I rock back and forth frantically, both of us entirely taken with ourselves. Nothing that unusual, I just need to take deeper breaths to steady myself. Oh no, oh no, this feeling is just normal. Oh no, oh no, This isn't, I can't, this pain is too much. Ah! I stumble backwards from Lily with unseemingly haste, clumsily hitting the back of my foot against the table and falling to the ground with an unceremonious crash. Breathing wildly, I frantically scrap at the ribbon over my eyes as I lay on my back. I have to get this off. For a moment, everything goes blank. As the rush of newfound light assaults my eyes, my breathing slows for the brink of hyperventilation. Seconds pass, and I carefully measure out the rhyme of my heartbeats. With every ounce of concentration I can muster, my heart is normal. It's back to normal. My body feels utterly bizarre as I lay dazed on the floor looking at the ceiling. The adrenaline from before is still pouring through my veins, but my mind is completely exhausted. I prop myself up as I hear Lily getting off the bed and coming towards me. Hisao, are you okay? Hisao! I'm fine, Lily, I'm fine. She gives a sigh of relief, her worried expression collapsing. Her face afterward is the very last I'd ever wanted to see from her. It's a face I'd detested when I first saw my parents in the hospital all those months ago. Pity. Lily pities me. I just close my eyes and turn away powerless. I feel like throwing up. I can hear the sound of Lily moving away and quickly attending to herself. The ruffling of her clothes being put back on after a moment of searching just barely audible. Sorry. She slowly shakes her head. As she finishes buttoning up her top, her kind smile looks so fragile, so delicate that it makes my heart sink. Approaching carefully, she feels out the edge of the low table before taking the seat next to me, putting her arms around my chest. I'm sorry, Hisao. I shouldn't have pushed my desires onto you. Aren't we still naked, though? You don't need to apologize. I'd normally be fine. You've seen that much before. I guess I should have tried to push myself. I guess I shouldn't have tried to push myself so far. My eyelids feel heavy. Calmly sitting next to her like this is probably letting the adrenaline work itself out of my system and letting my mind relax. So that's why you never took the lead. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing you like to, huh? The joke seems to lighten her expression a little. A fact which helps let me feel less unease about my unreliable self. Lily's head comes to rest on my shoulder as I struggle to keep my eyes open with more difficulty. After each blink, I feel completely drained. It's okay, Hisao. It's all okay. No sooner does she say this than a small, quiet tune escapes her lips, entirely too tired to think. All I can do is listen to her soft humming. It's a soft, almost melancholic tune. It sounds familiar, but the more I try to remember its origins, the less I seem able to concentrate. The scent of her head gently resting on my shoulder, and her warm body against my sides are soothing. The soft humming of her voice relaxes my mind as much as her warmth relaxes my muscle. The singular quiet moment after all this, I don't know. It makes me realize just how exhausted I've become. I can feel my eyelids slowly becoming heavier and heavier. Even with the chaos of before, I wish the moment would last forever. Lily and I together, sharing a single solitary occasion together, just as we used to. But if that's the case, why does she feel further away than she's ever felt before? Okay, guys, so we have about 7 left. That's it, 7. Because we're on context, that's where we left off. We started here. We only done 3. Yep, 3 each video. 3 days each video. Yeah. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, this game has so much left. If I am assuming to be correct, there's only gonna be 2 more videos left. Depending on how long the days are, depending on how much I cut out, depending on if I want to, So yeah. 2 more videos left of Katawa Shoujo Lily Path. Next path, I think I might go for Emmy. My second favorite character is Rin, but I might go for Emmy next, because I think Rin is the longest, if I believe so. I don't know. I forgot who, let me see. I can't really see, but I'm pretty sure Rin is the longest, if I'm correct. I don't know, I have to look that up. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, this game is long. It's way too long. But either way, guys, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Of course, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out and, bye-bye.